Welcome in. It is day 246, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today, we're going to be going over a game that initially was a Kickstarter. I didn't see it on Kickstarter, it wasn't one that grabbed me there, but in my first or second year when I went to PAX East, they had the person who had made excess of the game after they had a successful Kickstarter, brought it to PAX East, selling it there reasonably cheap, and I decided to give it a try. The game was called Cast and Capture. Now, as I've done before, this is in one of our smaller game boxes here. I got rid of the original box because it was just a little card box, and it made way more sense to put it in here. So the game wasn't very big, might have been like that size. It was just probably could fit 3 52 card decks in there. And the concept is there's actually 2 ways to play this. Now, I've tried to play this by its unique rule set. Personally, I think it's a bad game. The idea being that you have creature cards and spell cards, and you basically have to take things and say, all right, either I'm combining a creature with another creature to make it something unique, or a spell with another spell to make it unique, and essentially you're just trying to grab as many at once as you can. So you might say, I'm grabbing a blue 2 and a red 6. I'm going to combine them, make it into a red 2. I see a red 2 over here on the board, and I have a blue 2 and a red 4, and I'll combine those to make that into another red 2. Now I can grab all 3 cards that are now part of my winnings. It's not complicated. It was way too easy. It was simplistic to a point of I hated it. But if you want to play the other side of the game, the other way it works is that you shuffle up both decks, you put the creature deck in the center, and you deal out 10 cards to the players. Now you flip the top card, that is trump, and you all play starting at youngest player. The player will play 1 card from their hand, and you have to follow suit if you can. And if you don't, you can play the trump suit if you want. Winner gets that creature card. You put the cards you used to the side. You have 9 cards each left. Now you flip another card on top. There's the new wild, and you have the person who just won start the next round. You go all the way until you finished up 10 rounds. You all have your 10 winnings. Shuffle the cards up again. Do it again. You're going to end up doing this for a total of 6 rounds, and at the end of those 6 rounds, you're going to have all 60 creatures owned. You'll then go through, and this is where it gets interesting, and I actually like these rules. It's a little bit unique. If a single player won nothing, they win the game. If more than one player got no creatures, then that doesn't matter. But if one person has no creatures, they immediately just win the game. It's over. If the case comes that multiple do, or nobody has no creatures, you then will go through, and you're going to count up and see who has the most creatures, and they win. And in the case of a tie, you start going from the highest numbered creatures, and you say who has the most 12s. You win. Okay, in the case of this 3-way tie, well, we're going to keep going. Now we're to 11s. All right, he's out. These 2 are still tied. All right, to 10s. Now you win. Eventually get to your winner. It's a unique enough, at least it's something special for a trick-taking game. It's not necessarily one that I would play over any of my others, but it was definitely a worthwhile trick-taking there. That being said, why don't we jump in? Let's talk our 7 categories and see where this game lands for us today. When it comes to the art, honestly, it was mediocre. The box was bland. I had no issue because the box not only wasn't big, but it just didn't grab me visually. I had no issue tossing that. And when it comes to the art on the cards, it's fine, but it feels like it's almost like they did a generic stage and then they went to a next stage and they never finished. You've got a really nice picture of the animal in the center. But other than that, it's just a lot of color. A lot of blue, a lot of red, a lot of yellow, each type of card. I just felt like it was okay art, but nothing special. It's got to be a thumbs down. Your components. You only have the 1. It's all the cards. You're going to have 120 total between your creatures and your spells. And they're well put together. I don't feel like they're going to fade or tear easily, so thumbs up. Your price. Now, this is where this one gets a little bit meh, because this game did not blow up. It did not take off. It was not massively successful. So while the game's not expensive, you probably could get it for $15, at least I did at the time, it is not good when it comes to the availability. It's not out there. You're not finding this on Amazon. You're not finding this in stores. It's gotta be a thumbs down. Your difficulty. So if you're playing it from its cast and capture game version, there's no difficulty at all. It's so simple, it's annoying. I think that a kid could easily play it, and I think a kid would get bored. It's just, to me, it's just the luck of the draw almost. If you're playing it from the I'm going to play a trick-taking game point of view, I still think it's easy, but it's got a little bit more game there. You can think a little bit strategically, so maybe you bump it up a level, but still nothing that an experienced or an expert ever wants to touch. So in my opinion, between those two games, you just don't do enough. It has to be a thumbs down. Replayability. If you like the game, sure. The game's fast. You can get through either version of the game quickly. You'll have opportunity to play repetitively in one day. I've pulled this out only for the second time since I got it, which was like 6 or 7 years ago. I'm not going to want to play ever the main game, and I think that the trick-taking is fine, but I have a boatload of better trick-taking games. This feels like a very stage 1 trick-taking. So for me, I don't think there's replayability here. It's got to be a thumbs down. Keys to victory. It's not really many. Again, let's go game to game. Let's say trick-taking first. I mean, the key is to win as many or none. Okay, I guess there's a little bit of option there. But because there's no specialty cards, you have to follow suit, and there's a trump. It's annoying because it's not like you a lot of the time, I played through the game and I found that a lot of the time you were forced to play your card because it was the only color you had. So when they played a black and you only had one black, there goes the black. And your only real option came when somebody played a card you would run out of, and if you could quickly find if there was another card color you could ditch and try to get your hand to have the possibility of trumps. But because the trump changed every single time, that made it hard to strategize. So for me, that doesn't have any keys to victory because of the constantly changing trump. You can't strategize for the round. On the flip side, in the main game, same concept. You're not picking out which ones you're going to be using when it comes to these different combos. You don't know what's coming next. It seems too luck of the draw to me. It's got to be a thumbs down. Unique. Ooh, is this unique? Ay, ay, ay. I'm going to use the word no, never, not a chance. The trick-taking is extremely generic. There's every trick-taking game is better than it and does what it does, just better. So, no there. Its game, I mean, it almost feels like, if anybody out there has ever played the game Yu-Gi-Oh!, it almost feels like they just got rid of all of the actions, all the traps, all the things like that, and they just said, we're just going to use the polymerization card. And that's all we're going to use, and we're just going to combine cards and grab a monster, and we're just trying to gather monsters. It's so weird and not really fun. I think the person who put together definitely put together a great little, like, if they're into that style, it's abstract in a way. You know, they came up with a cool little system. They just didn't finish it. They didn't finish the game. They have what feels like a single working mechanism without a follow-up to use it for on a board and affecting, or use the cards as money or something. It feels like they have something here. They just didn't finish it. So for me, no, it's not unique. It's bland and unfinished. Gotta be a thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? I wish I hadn't invested in it. It's such a small game. I'm going to hold on to it. But in general, I don't think it's worth a buy. I don't think it's really worth a play. I think this is too generic, and it's not something you're going to find anyways. But even if you do, just don't waste your money and your time on it. Spend a little extra and get a better game. Well, it has been day 246. We've been speaking about the game Cast and Capture. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding an Amazon link in case I can find this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.